Hello, my name is Dominic UNDERHAUL and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode I want to do something slightly different, so I've decided to split up the intro to list building series and do it a day in between each one, so we've got a bit of variety on the channel. And today I wanted to look at a new Xuna roster that I've made, and it's a sort of like a controlling style of list. So we're just going to pop control up here. So what we've got is Xuna as the captain. The reason I've chosen Xuna is the obscuring area from Mahjong, the healing. It really lends itself well to long games and having that drawn out experience, and you can really make the most of it if you build around it. So in terms of early game, we've done something a little bit unusual. We have not gone for Maximus. So we've got Deadeye here as our go-to 1-drop. We've got Axel here, who might be our go-to 2-drop a lot of the time, with an option of Stitchy if we need it. And then we've gone straight into Torian Guardian, Sevria Safeguard, who another good 2-drop, very protective again. Torian, great synergy with Xuna. We've got Defense Dome to keep things alive a little bit longer. Arya over here for basically just a really useful ranged unit. I can't get enough of Arya at the moment. Pacifier Oatley to try and control that late game board state. Turncoat to do the same sort of thing, so we can immobilise one thing with Turncoat, you can yeet another with Oatley, and then we've got Florio Lancer to try and be a bit of a finisher, with Stitching with Patchy here to sort of heal up Oatley and the other things as and when we need to. So this list is playing around that longer game plan. We don't want to get rushed down, but what we haven't got is those beefy frontline units. So we're going to be trying to use the damage reduction from Torian. We're going to use the accuracy reduction from Torian, the damage reduction from Sevria, the healing from Xuna, and try and use all those in conjunction with the defense dome to try and create a bit of a defensive wall. So I'm going to jump into a game and see how this goes. If you enjoy this, please don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe, join us over on Patreon. The subscriptions just mean the most to me, and I'm so close to 300 subs. Every single one of you that helps me get there would put us up to being sort of 100 and something in about a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. Would be incredible. Our opponent is going to be Cosmic Castaway. We've got a Xuna mirror match, and they're a level 10 opponent, so there could be anything come out of this. If you've seen my last video, you'll notice that I think that one was a level 12 opponent, and they actually had some really good plays. They absolutely played better than me. They won the game. So it's not always about what level you are, it's about how well practiced you are and how you run your list. And in that case, our opponent did a great job. So let's see what they're willing to do here. The interesting thing is, so obviously they're going to heal Toltecan. We're going to be able to play Deadeye, but I actually think we'd probably even just skip putting out a second 1-drop and go straight for a 3-drop instead. So okay, so they've gone for Fixer. Interesting, so they're going for bounty points. So for us, that's absolutely fine. We're going to move in this general direction. I think actually, maybe we deploy, because Axel's not really going to get anywhere. So I think I'm going to move up here and just deploy Deadeye nice and safe back here. So I'll pop that over this way. We're going to assign Dardo over there. And to be honest, in this location, I think I just can move over here fairly safely, and there's not really anything else to worry about. So we're just going to pop Mahjong down over here and make sure we're a little bit more protected. They don't have good line of sight onto Toltecan, and we can just get a little bit earlier with getting our slightly stronger units out. So we can go for Arya next turn, we can go for Torian defensively, or we could even just see what we need to and change it bit by bit. There you go, they've got a 1% chance here, and our movement puts us in range of their unit. So obviously we want to stay nearby Toltecan, but we can stop them taking too many objectives just by moving into that direction. So this is interesting, because if they move forward, we're going to be able to start chipping away at them. Moving back seems the right choice to me. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to move in front, we're going to try and take a shot at Fixer, and then we could basically just protect ourselves again with Mahjong, depending on what they put down. So given that they're playing this style of build, I think Arya is absolutely what we're going to be wanting to pick up and you play next. So we've got a 0% accuracy almost all around there, so I think what I'm going to do here is just go for the best shot we can onto Toltecan, go 35 here, Ozos ourselves, take that shot. Okay, we missed, which is surprising, I'll be honest. I thought we were going to be able to hit that. This time we are going to Dardo over here, just because if they don't have enough damage to kill us, then that's a great use for us. If we could have moved into their defensive field there, we absolutely would have done. And then, honestly, looking at this, I actually just think putting our Aria down over here is going to be a really useful thing to do for the next round. We can basically keep moving up here and pressuring in this direction, and then we can still use her down here as well. So we can only take 4 on Toltecan at the moment anyway. If they go over onto this Cinder, we might actually consider trying to take it out and going for that AoE damage instead. But we're going to be healing some damage back at the next turn anyway, and our opponent is going to basically be taking that damage instead. So there's a very good chance we can just chip through, get a good bit of damage done, heal up Toltecan, you put Majan down here as well. Okay, so here's Taurian Guardian. So this is something we do need to try and deal with immediately, and luckily we've got the units to do so, but it depends on where they're going to put their Dardo. Honestly, that looks out of range to me, but can't always worry about these things. It is what it is. Funny enough, I think I'm actually going to deploy it over here and just stay a little bit safe and get defended. Now, can we get line of sight? A good line of sight at all, that is. So we could push over here and just try and take out Toltecan. And I don't actually hate that. So if we get that 25 we had a second ago, where was that? There we go. Pop the stillness, take that shot. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move forwards here, but just stay out of range of Toltecan, so we can take this objective in a following turn. We're going to move forward down here. The question is, how aggressive do we want to play? So I think we're going to put our own Toltecan down, our own Taurian down over here. We're going to deploy Majan over here as well, so we've got double Majan field going on. And then I believe we've still got the Buzz over here. Perfect, this is exactly what we want. So now we're contesting that objective soon. We're not there yet, but we will be soon. We're fairly safe over here. We've got huge amounts of visibility reduction, and we're basically trying to take control of the game in terms of points. Crankbait is an interesting one. So it looks like they might be trying to move out of way so they can get Dardo, to get back into range with Xuna to heal this up in a future turn. One thing we can do here, depending on where they move, is we may be able to just hook ourselves behind that ledge to make it really difficult for them to drag us with Crankbait. So that's sort of a good thing for us here. The positioning here, they don't have an easy angle to get lines of sight using Beatrice, so it's going to be hard for them to actually deal with that. So, because Beatrice's ability, the way it works, is attacking through someone. The people behind you do still get hit, whereas people in front have still got the accuracy debuff, so may not do. So it is possible here, if they lined up correctly, for them to actually do a bit of damage, but it's not always going to be the case. So their healing is currently on Beatrice, so we need to avoid Beatrice pretty much at all costs. But given that they've left Crankbait up here, there's a chance we might be able to just move. Oh, that's unfortunate. We might be able to move up here and get 3 damage onto Crankbait and just try and chip a little bit more away. This, however, pretty much screams that we want to be taking that out instead. So over here looks like it's going to be 80 odd % if we use stillness, which we're going to have to do. Just take that shot. Perfect. We can move up here, so we probably do want to just look at Ozosing ourselves as well, getting that increased accuracy and seeing what we can work with. So we can knock that out of range, but honestly at this point, I mean, that gets us to 100. I think we want to just make sure we're not contesting this, so that we are contesting this objective. So I'm going to take the chance to damage Stitchy, and we're going to come and do a little bit of work over here. So I think Toltecan's going to come over this way. We're going to basically share the damage out as much as possible. So we're going to take a little bit back, but that's fine. We should have gone for the accuracy debuff here. Xuna's going to move in this direction, and we're going to deploy our defense dome. Actually, defense dome doesn't quite do it, does it? In fact, it does if we put it just here. So let's put defense dome down and pop Majan over here as well. We've got Dardo in place. I think this is really quite solid. We've got dome, we've got decreased accuracy, we're going to be able to heal next turn, so this is what I was talking about before with the Beatrice ability, so this is guaranteed to get through, but this just makes it that little bit harder for them to get good damage onto us. Like, this is only going to be 1, and if they go for this attack, they're taking 3 back as well, so this is, I think, okay. You know, with I feel like we're in a controlling position. The dome doesn't do much. That's a clever play because it stops us scoring, and it also makes things harder for our... In fact, it's a lot harder for us to get back in range there. That's actually an interaction I didn't know. I didn't know you could heal Toltecan and still not necessarily have it work out for you. I'm not sure I agree with that positioning, because if they don't heal Stitchy here... Oh, are they actually out of range of the... They are slightly out of range of the resurrection, it looks like, as well. Which is very unfortunate for them, so we need to make sure not to hit Toltecan. But this way, we can actually take out Stitchy McFatchy using both of these units and still start contesting objectives. Xuna could maybe even just move back here and pop something else down, like... We go 6, we're just short of Florio. Honestly, I think this could be a Stitchy and a Sevria, or maybe even Axel Pyro down here to start dealing a bit of damage. Where are they going to go? Okay, that's absolutely fine. I'm fairly sure we're likely to be able to get to 100% accuracy on these, so we're heading 98 first. We'll send Arya down here, get the stillness in, take Stitchy out completely. Actually, they have got Toltecan back. Interesting. I didn't think they were going to quite have that. So, what do we want to do here? We need to deploy something. We've got 5 and we're going to gain 6, so... But none of this is ranged, so this is where we're kind of falling down a bit here. Yeah, we're not really doing anything. So, let's pop some damage down onto this. We can pop another bit of damage down here. We're still going to move the defense dome to get that, basically that genuine, just defensive approach in place. I'm going to pop down here. I'm going to Majan myself in this case, because I'm not too worried about those things. And then, to be honest, I think Turncoat over here puts a real threat onto the battlefield. Something they have to be very careful about what they want to do. We will Ozos Arya, because there's a good chance that we die here this turn. And other than that, I think we're in a good spot. We do ideally want to get back here. This would be a good thing to be able to take over, but neither of us... I mean, we've got 1 extra crew over them, I think it looks like. We've got 5 and 6? 11? Hey? And they've got 5 and 5. Why is it 5 and...
Don't talk back.
Why are we 5 and 6? Oh, because Toltecan. Of course it is. Okay, so they're going over there. Toltecan is... I mean, it says 0, but it's got health there. I'm not really sure if that's alive or not. It does look to be disabled, so maybe next turn we can just run away a bit. They've gone for misses, perfect. So yeah, we'll just be able to chip away a bit of value, get what we can do here and there. We're going to be able to use Turncoat. If we lose a unit, we can actually use Turncoat to take down and steal their Taurian, which is unbelievable. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to send Deadeye in to die on purpose and basically use that to steal an enemy unit. Because if we can steal that, that's so good for us. It's just even harder for anything to hit us whatsoever. Okay, they've got their own Florio. Interesting. So I guess we now know where our units are heading. We're going to be going over and trying to just push some damage out onto Florio and seeing what we can do. So Toltecan's back. We could just die here. I think what we want to do is stay as far back as we can here and just go ahead and try and take this away. Then we're going to send Toltecan back here to hit. We're going to put Defense Dome as far back as we can to cover everything that's here. Taurian's just going to come up and go on the offensive.
Both ends are pointy.
And actually, if we can get a good Arya shot here, get the stillness, we'll take that out as quick as we possibly can. We probably do want to start moving out from this direction. But I think this is our only thing holding the objective, so let's just Ozos onto Arya. Torian's coming up, but not quite there. And honestly, I think we're just going to pass here. We obviously can't deploy anything, but we might be able to steal Torian as well. And depending on what they do, this just might gradually end the game for them, because we're going to have a permanent Torian on our side, and then we can just start running things in different directions, doing different things. If they kill one of our units, we do get it. So yeah, this is what we were hoping they'd do, because not only does that mean we don't have to spend our resources doing that, but it means we are going to steal their unit, and then Turncoat can actually go ahead and look at doing it to Beatrice next turn, and we can start moving around and try and taking out other units. Okay, Pacifier Oatley's down. Nice. So, Oatley is a danger, but I think it's more important for us to just start trying to get some damage down onto their units here. So, we've already got 98% here without even trying, so that's what we're going to go do. Just take that shot there. We're going to bring Torian in over this way. This puts the damage reduction onto Arya. We can just contest this objective. We might as well go for the hit because we might not get hit back. We did, but that's not the end of the world. And now we can just start moving along.
By my side.
We've got double Torian, so just keep on moving up in this direction. Send everything over here, including our spare Torian, because we're also going to move in here, contest this objective, and start holding this point down. Dardo for now, I guess, just comes over here. Anything left to move? It's Arya, so I think I'm just going to move Arya back as far as we can, just in case that helps. And we'll steal this again, try and keep ourselves safe. Interestingly, we're not actually going to be able to contest any of these objectives until we've killed that unit, but unless they can get their own Xuna over there and heal it up, then we should be absolutely fine, and we can just spend the rest of the battle moving things around here. Okay. So they're going to throw Torian, I imagine, and then hit Arya, which works absolutely fine, but the fact we still get to deploy is great. They've got their turncoat in here now. Okay. So them having a turncoat is fine. We don't care too much for the dome right now. Because we don't have really a way of dealing with turncoat, but we also don't care that much about the dome. The dome isn't even going to go unless we kill one of their units. So I think what we most want to do at this point is actually just poke at it, leave it alone. Maybe they just fling something back up to the battlefield for us. Sorry, onto the bridge for us. And that could even just end up with us having a perfectly good situation here. If Arya somehow lives, we are in a very good spot, but I don't think that's particularly likely. We just now need to make sure we don't just randomly lose everything. So trying to deal with turncoat is going to be an issue here. I guess they didn't kill our unit, which is nice. But what that does mean is that we're not still at the moment, so we haven't got any good accuracy here at all. That's only 21%. We'll have to take it. Got it, wow.
Both ends are pointy.
So we're just going to send everyone running in this direction. Everything we've got all going over here.
Say what you mean.
Torian, what can you do right now? I mean, we could get more and more in range of turncoat. I actually don't hate that either. I'm going to move back here so that they have to use movement to get onto us if they want to. Honestly, we may as well just keep contesting this. And pop Majan down. Pop it over here. Where can Dardo go? Nowhere useful here. So we'll just pass this turn. I think we're struggling. Like, we're not fully in a good spot here, because their turncoat is going to be better than our turncoat, basically. We're both going to just be fighting over stealing each other's units over and over again, and having to see where this goes from here. So let's see where our opponent goes. This is a really interesting game. Like, I think one thing we're noticing is that our lack of range damage and our inability to just straight up deploy Florio straight away is a really big deal here. If we could have deployed our Florio, turncoat is actually working to our disadvantage at this point, because we can't put that down and start just chipping away at what we need to. If I were our opponent, I'd be looking at maybe killing over here and then just trying to find a way to flip Torian back onto off the battlefield, because if we can get 2 units to attack their turncoat, that's how we're going to win this game, is by taking their turncoat out and winning it in the long run. So, okay, they're going for reduced accuracy, and they're going for Artoria. So if they miss, oh, they didn't miss. Okay, that's really good for them. So now, whatever they do here, their turncoat could actually potentially take us out. However, this means that we can steal their Beatrice, we can leave that objective alone, and we can now work on putting our Florio down, which gives us a little bit more security in the long run. This is fine for us if you go over here, because we're just going to run down.
I knew you'd change your mind.
So we can actually get a hit off here and kill that, which is fantastic. That just reduces so much of the things we have to worry about at this point. We're going to send Toltecan to just... So it looks like we can tow into that objective and hit this. Turncoat's going to run up here. Xuna's going to run over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to deploy Florio all the way back here. We may as well put Majan down over ourselves. And to be honest, I think Axel Pyro right on top of it here. So if we can get... How far can they move? Okay, so they can't move too far away. If we put Axel Pyro right about here, we should be in a good spot to be able to deal with that next turn. So again, Beatrice is just going to move up here, stay safe.
Does it ever go smooth?
We'll howl over this side, keep these things from moving as far. We'll call that a turn. I often forget to use the howl, so the reason I've left this here is they can try and do this for Axel Pyro, but we should be able to still get line of sight, and then Florio to kill this here as well. Because, actually no, maybe we can't get round. Maybe we have to try and Florio both of these. Sorry, to hit here, Axel Pyro both of these, and then Florio all of this. That could be the right route. If they fling us back to the battlefield, I don't know if they can do that with Torian. Can you send Torian back off the battlefield? I actually have no idea. Okay, if Xuna moves up there, that's bad. In fact, if they put the heal onto the turncoat, we could actually just straight up lose this. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't considered the idea of healing turncoat. That would be very hard to deal with. Although we can now move Toltecan ourselves, which is good. And they've got their own Axel Pyro. Okay, I feel like this is a good spot. We just want to still be contesting that. Take a hit here, so... This does 3 damage and burn to both of these. So that's a really good start for us, just taking a chunk on both of those. So now Florio can launch. Can we get multiple things here? We get those 3, we get these. I think going for these just makes the most sense. It clears everything out that we're worried about. We will... Where do we go from here? I think we need to just keep moving aggressively forward with these. Turncoat can come up. We've got this situation, so we can... Axel can just move back here, I think. We need to move further back to be safe, so we're going to move Xuna up here, Axel back this way, and see if this can get... Not quite there, but if we put here, we might be able to get this. Dado there, Majan over here as well. And And then who's left to move? Beatrice. And Florio is fine there. Okay, so we used all of our turn up, but I now feel like we're in a commanding presence. We're getting 2 points a turn. We've got some artillery at the back. They've got Axel Pyro who can come in and do some damage, but there we go. So they're going to have to rely on Pacifier Oatly to keep putting things away. And to be honest, I think we've got a reasonable chance of just dealing with Oatly via damage if we need to. So we've got Axel Pyro, who I think is going to be just short of range, but we've got 3 damage here, 3 from Florio, and maybe we'll be able to get 3 in from Toltecan as well, and that should be enough to, with Beatrice in addition, to clear up Pacifier Oatly and start winning in terms of crew control. So this has turned out to be a really interesting game. Of course it benefits them but not us. That is fine though, that's how these things go. And we just, basically at this point I just want to clean up their crew because we are ahead in terms of points. And so as long as we clean up the crew and don't give them too many different options, we'll be absolutely fine. Obviously Ryuki's powerful, but it's not something that they have too many things to take advantage of. So I think we can probably be fine here. I am however going to I'm basically going to take out Toltecan on purpose. Our Toltecan is going to die, but we might be able to just survive that through other means. Because if we bombard over here, can we get all 3? No, we're going to be a little bit short. I do think this is the right call, so we can stay on the objectives here and just come this side.
Stay close to me.
Just clear this out a little bit easier. So then our Axel Pyro is going to come here and just burn theirs. And just move back as far as we can. Because we are not going for this point right now, probably just want to try and... Do you know what, we can actually just move over here and heal our Toltecan next turn. We're nowhere near dying. And I think if we put down our own Pacifier Oatly, say, over here, take off their objective, I think we're in a good spot. The only things are Dada and Majan, and I think just popping Majan straight down on ourselves is the only thing left to do, and we're going to try and win through points, and if we don't win through points, we're going to win through a bit of attrition here anyway, so I feel reasonably comfortable here. We just need to survive 2 turns, and to be honest we can just move all our defensive buffs over here and kill the enemy units. I think we've got enough time. They don't have enough Cinder to do too many things. This might have been a bit aggressive and unnecessary, but given that we can just send things back up on the battlefield, that's absolutely fine. My plan is going to be, because they've got no more units, I'm going to send Yuki back onto the bridge, so they have to keep deploying it. It doesn't do anything the turn it comes down. Unless they kill Axel Pyro here, we're going to just go ahead and kill their Axel Pyro and start healing it the next turn. To be honest, if I were them... Oh, they've already moved, haven't they? Sorry, attacked rather, so I think there's nothing really to be done here. There we go. So we're going to move to here. We're going to fire flame with these 2. Can't get 3, so we're just going to make sure we take both of these out. Stay on the objective. Pacifier Oatly is going to just pop over here and send this back to the battlefield. And then we're just going to move in and start hitting the enemy captain as often as we can do, and protecting ourselves in the process. So again, defending from Toltecan, moving forwards. Because we can now just be aggressive with our units, we can just send the bombard over here, and we don't really need to worry, because if our opponent can't clear us off of multiple objectives next turn, we just win anyway. So I want to say Cosmic Caster, that was a really good game. They put a lot of effort into this. The only thing they can potentially do is run down here and deploy, but they're not going to be able to cover that objective and this objective, so I think we're in a fairly safe spot. I don't think there's anything they can really do, but honestly, there was a few times in this game where I was, like that turncoat especially, I wasn't sure how we were going to deal with it, but we got some good positioning in there. We managed to get it taken out, especially be able to get Florio down here. I do love being able to use Florio, but it's going to be their Beatrice that's going to give us the game. So Cosmic Caster giving us the game with their own little unit, giving us the points, is a really nice touch to finish off. And I think that's a really fun way of winning, because we're 9 out of 10, we passed the turn, and there's a victory. So honestly,
We'll bring you
we
back.
wanted to play a control list. It worked out as exactly that. We had to control the game, draw it out. We started working down the enemy crew, putting ourselves in defensive positions. We made good use of Dado. We made good use of Mahan, and just healed up a bunch. And all in all, we just took that game to the position where we were the ones deciding how things played out. I really, really enjoyed playing that. If you guys did as well, then make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Subscriptions mean the most. Join us over on Patreon. Anything you can do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and most importantly, have a good day.